When Amy and I first moved to our new house, Jeff Haslam actually said, "Hey, you should check out this place that has soda down the road." And we were like, "What in the world are you talking about?" And apparently, he brought a piece of Utah with him when he moved here to Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not sponsored, but Jeff is addicted to Swig. Jeff, tell us a little bit about it.
Swig originated in Utah. Utah, as you know, doesn't drink alcohol. No, they do. But oh, hi, Dash. Sorry, we're having dogs too. It is a flavored soda place. So they have themed sodas that you get with all the flavors. My favorite, for example, is the Endless Summer, which is Diet Mountain Dew, pomegranate, grapefruit, and cranberry. But they just opened one up right down the street from Paul in Claremont. So we're not sponsored by Swig, but we should be.
I will admit, I gave Jeff a lot of flack about this when he kept saying, "Hey, have you been to Swig? Hey, have you been to Swig? Hey, have you been to Swig?" And I had not been. It actually got so bad that I think you brought over our first drinks.
He did.
And,
I did.
And I was like, okay, I finally understand. I'm not like a Coke or soda guy, but I finally get it. So, let us know in the comments. Have you tried Swig? What's your favorite drink? Or like Derek, do you just have a confused look on your face for the last 2 minutes of this intro?
Well, I'm just curious. So when you say that Jeff brought some over to your house, so they sell it in cans and bottles, or did you just bring over like an open cup?
No, it's a fountain drink place. They sell fountain drinks and cookies and popcorn. But the fountain drink, they have a whole pre-menu, but you can basically make whatever kind of soda you want. For example, I'm currently drinking a Big Al, which is Diet Coke, lime, and coconut.
Right, they'll put cream. They'll put creams into the soda, Derek.
They'll put boba balls. They'll do really whatever you want.
And the pricing is great.
If you don't like soda, like me, they have flavored water type things. They're very good too.
They also have some energy like Red Bull type drinks as well. So
if they can add beer to it, count me in. I'm there.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I am your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
We've got John Sakari, Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
The Swig Master, Jeff Haslam.
Hey everybody.
And the one, the only Senior Sales Associate for the DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How do you know this is going to go up on a Monday, Derek? Maybe I'll switch it up
Monday.
and it'll be a Tuesday.
Because I know people that religiously listen and watch this, either in the gym, in their car, doing exercises. If they're out to dinner with friends, they have parties. This show's a huge deal all over the world.
All over the world. Yeah.
And only on Mondays. Only on
Mondays. Yeah, the rest of the week, everyone turns it off. They're like, but I will agree, if we don't put an episode out on Monday, then people get really confused. They get concerned. And so we almost always have to put a little like, hey, we're changing it up a little bit, just to kind of let them know. But
it's funny too, because a lot of times they assume the worst. So when we don't do a Monday show, like if we're out of town or something, Paul and Amy okay? Did Jeff die? Like, why isn't there a Monday? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
We're on vacation. It's, oh my God, did you guys
show's
die?
Been canceled. It's done for good. We're never going to do one again. No. But I'm super excited for this week's episode, and that is mainly because I am unprepared. We actually, for my birthday, were driving to Epic Universe, which we previously talked that on a live stream that you can go back and watch and hear all of our reviews of our Epic Universe experience. But I said to Amy, we need to come up with some DVC show ideas. And my lovely wife gave me the best birthday present ever and mainly did the heavy lifting for this week's show. So we're doing this or that. She came up with a series of topics.
With some help from that crew.
That crew. Wow.
That guy.
Put that on your resume.
I'm going to go on record here and say that this is like the 7th birthday present I think Paul has gotten for this birthday.
Right.
He went to Epic. He got to stay overnight. He's getting a Nintendo Switch.
That's not a birthday present anymore. We swapped Epic for the Switch. So
are you still getting a Switch?
I got a Switch myself. So
are you still getting a Switch?
I would be lying. This is filmed. I feel like people don't need the disclaimer, but these are filmed in advance. But I do have an alarm set for 11:45 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's tonight?
It is.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was tomorrow morning. Oh, good. Okay.
Up all
9
night
to
party.
midnight.
I'm going to sleep just like you do when I check in for our cruises.
That's fair. That's super fair. So, anyhow, as always, this and all of our DVC show content is brought to you by the world of DVC Resale Market. If you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract, Monero Financial, who can assist in financing that DVC resale contract purchase, and the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points, or rent out your own points for cash. And if you're asking yourself, this seems like it was just edited into this video, that's correct, because I forgot to do it while we were filming. So back to the fun tonight.
So I thought, we've done this before. It's been a while. And basically, we take two topics to like this versus that, and our lovely group is going to take turns picking which one, which one's better, which one's their favorite, and why, and then the rest of you are going to just tell them why they're wrong.
Perfect. I think the thing we enjoy most on this show is telling each other why we're wrong. So
I was just going to say, this sounds like every week. There's no difference.
It's just a regular show here.
Pretty
We don't even
much.
need a topic.
Some of these are DVC specific. Some of these are more just Disney specific. So I'm actually going to start with a Disney specific one that I can't even comment on because I've only been to one of these. But I want to talk about, especially with the news that the water park benefit is going to extend now into 2026 for your check-in day, Blizzard Beach versus Typhoon Lagoon. Jeff, you've been to both, right?
I have, yeah.
Okay. So tell us what you think.
That's a really hard choice, actually.
No, it's not.
I
No, it's
choose
not.
Volcano Bay. No, I'm just kidding. I choose Blizzard Beach. I definitely choose
wow.
Blizzard Beach. Yeah. It is a close call for me because there are certain things at each that I do like. But I like the theming at Blizzard Beach better. It's a little more out of the Florida norm.
Right.
I like the fact that you don't have to hike to the top to ride the death slides or the wedgie slides. You can just take the ski lift up. I feel like the lazy river is a little bit longer. That might just be in my head, but it just feels like it is. And some of the other attractions, like the racetrack ones, and the fact that the little snowmen all over the place are melting, and it like puts water on the concrete so you're not burning your feet. I like the vibe over at Blizzard Beach a little bit better.
Can someone tell me what a wedgie slide is?
It's the slide that you go down, and when you get up, you have to pull the wedgie out because it put your swimming suit in places it doesn't belong.
Oh my goodness.
Can I just say I was distracted because this was the first time I went to the Jeff's solo shot
I know,
during this episode. But the fact that the Club 33 bag made the display behind you,
Right?
I'm really impressed by that level of detail. So, yeah. That's fun.
It's funny that that's what you cued in on, but I actually have my new Haunted Mansion set up here, which is really
I saw
important.
that.
So
You see the 33 logo
I
and you immediately go to it.
saw the Club 33 stuff. And I stared at it.
I don't own Club 33, disclaimer. I've got a good friend that snuck me in once.
Yeah, you just know that the people in the comments will be like, "Oh, Jeff's got Club 83 behind him. Look at that." That's
Well,
nice."
somebody said I had the $65,000 diamond castle behind me, and Legos. Somebody commented that on last week's video.
Legos.
I will. I'm not going to disagree with Jeff here on this Blizzard Beach versus Typhoon Lagoon thing. Only because my experience with Blizzard Beach is back from the year 2000. I think I've told this story before. I got severely sunburnt, and it was fun. I was a kid. It was a wonderful time, but it was just, didn't put enough sunscreen on, no matter how many times my mom told me to put more on. And
Well,
so
that's
that
not
was
Blizzard Beach's fault.
It is not Blizzard Beach's fault. I had a wonderful time. I need to go back and experience so I can answer this question properly. But we've had a blast of an experience at Typhoon Lagoon the multiple times we've been there here in the past few years. So
Yes.
that's my experience with water parks, and that's what I got to go with. Derek, you're nodding along there.
I'm viciously nodding along, and I'm agreeing with you in the fact that it's Typhoon Lagoon. It's just better. It's bigger. It's got the wave pool, which we just did Blizzard Beach when we did the whole, and again, we'll talk about it later, the whole, free water park on the day of your check-in. So we went to Blizzard Beach. We hadn't been there in years. Is really cute. Like Jeff said, I love the theming of the ski lodges and the snowman and all that, but I miss that feeling when you walk in and you see that giant wave pool. And everybody knows that's been there. And then you hear that noise, right? From the wave pool, which is the ka-chunk. And then you wait a few seconds, and then you start to hear screams. And the screams get louder and louder because the giant wave gets closer and closer to shore. All throughout, you've got palm trees, you've got the Typhoon Lily up on top, squirting water. You got that music. It's that Blizzard Beach music that everywhere you go, it's that like it's constant, and it just gets stuck in your head. But when we started going, Blizzard Beach was the one when we lived outside Chicago that it was everything that we wanted when we came to Florida, right? So I get the thing like, okay, if you live here in Florida now, you see enough palm trees and all that. I just think for the overall vibe, for the music they play, for that wave pool, which is one of a kind, and that water roller coaster is awesome. Blizzard Beach is super cool. It's super fun, but I just miss that centerpiece, which is the wave pool. So Typhoon Lagoon wins.
Jeff,
that's fair, and I will say
it involves sound effects.
I don't think I can do sound effects. You can
do sound effects. You love a good karaoke.
That's true.
I don't know what Blizzard Beach sounds
I will say
like.
this. I do miss one thing at Typhoon Lagoon that they took away, and that was the snorkel reef that they used to have.
Oh, yeah.
That really made that park different than any other water park I've ever been to. I don't particularly enjoy swimming in wave pools of other kids' germies and pee and stuff like that. So I don't ever go in the wave pool unless Paul drags me at Moonlight Magic. It was fun, but I'm more of a lazy river guy. So
yeah,
you don't think there's pee in the lazy river too?
No, there's not. It's only in the wave pool.
That's what it sounded like you were saying.
I think what he means to say is the pee is not hitting you in the face.
Panda, what pee pool do you like?
So I like Blizzard Beach, but I love Typhoon Lagoon. I think the Gilligan's Island type theming is what I love. The tilted buildings, the palm trees, the lush plants and stuff. I don't like the theming too much of Blizzard Beach. I don't need to have my mind messed with where you see ice, but it's 110 degrees out. Messes me up. I enjoy it, but I do like the attractions also better. I love the wave pool. I even like the lazy river, but the whole walking around Typhoon Lagoon, even the story as you go in, a furious storm raged across the sea. I don't quite remember it. It set me up. Whereas Blizzard Beach, I don't know. Not like it as much as Typhoon.
Yeah. And I found too, just one thing to add, because I was just at Blizzard Beach, the seating and the lounge chair situation at Typhoon Lagoon felt like it was a trillion times better than at Blizzard Beach. I felt literally like they were putting chairs on top of a chair, on top of another chair. There's chairs of like 18 different sizes, from like this big for like your toes, all the way up to like your huge giant body. There's chairs strewn everywhere you walk. I just felt like Typhoon Lagoon just has a more relaxing vibe. Whereas like Jeff said too, I mean, the slides and stuff at Blizzard Beach they're awesome. They're great, but I think if I'm at a water park, I just want to chill and feel like relaxed.
Jeff just stopped listening to all of us, it looked like, because we all disagreed with him.
If it's the wave pool that you think is the best, Blizzard Beach has a wave pool.
Oh,
I don't understand what we're missing about that.
It doesn't do the waves. The last time I was there were no waves.
It doesn't make the
noise. It definitely does the waves. It definitely does. It's literally called Melt Away Bay.
Maybe,
and it literally
not as often.
No way. You go YouTube it. I want everyone to YouTube and see Blizzard Beach wave pool compared to Typhoon Lagoon wave pool. They do surf lessons in the Typhoon Lagoon wave pool. The waves are like 10 feet high. They're not even close to the little piddly trickles that come in at Blizzard Beach.
Let your worries drift away as you enjoy the soothing waves or just splash around in this heated 1 acre wave pool.
Yeah, soothing. waves, soothing waves. I like Typhoon Lagoon. It has waves that cause people to scream.
I think what Derek is trying to say is there's no ka-chunk and then the whoosh.
Thank you.
You all mentioned multiple times during this, and I feel like we should bring it up, that the free water park benefit was extended through 2026. And so for those of you unfamiliar with that, it started in 2025. It is extended technically through, they said, summer 2026. But that is free water park access to Disney Vacation Club members, anyone staying on property during that first check-in day. So you arrive, get off that airplane, drive to the resort, and then choose which ka-chunk or whatever wave pool you want to go to and experience the water parks with.
It is check-in day only, but for everybody that's in your room. All right, so we're going to move into more DVC here. Wailulu Grill versus Geyser Point. And this was a suggestion of Derek's wife, because these are both kind of like a lounge type restaurants. There's no advanced reservations. You just walk up. They're both kind of outside, although Wailulu has some indoor. But Derek, I know you're going to have a very strong opinion on this. Maybe not.
No, I mean, this one's hard. And we've had a little bit of notice for me to try to think about which one I love, because I love them both for different reasons. I'm not trying to cop out. But I think if I'm thinking, okay, if I get one chance to go pick one of these places, right? Okay, you get to go, snap your fingers, and you're immediately there. I'm going to pick Geyser Point. That's what I'm going to pick. I love the vibe at Geyser Point. I love the seats at Geyser Point. I think are really cool and kind of really underrated, because they're kind of those lower seats. It's almost like, couches and stuff. So you don't feel like you're in a quote unquote, restaurant per se. Whereas the Wailulu Grill is awesome. And those views cannot be beat. But there's something about, for me, if I'm picking one of those two and I have to go to, the burger's great, of course, at Geyser Point. But there's something nice when you're on a Disney, at a Disney resort, that maybe sometimes you don't want to see a castle and you don't want to see other resorts kind of screaming at you. You could just be there at Geyser Point looking out on seeing Bay Lake, and it's just so pretty. And then if you're there, happen to be there at night, the electrical water pageant, I just love the vibe. So I'm going to go with Geyser Point.
All right. And I didn't say this, but in case you are unsure, Geyser Point is located at Wilderness Lodge. It is right there on the lake, and obviously very close to Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek. And then Wailulu Bar and Grill is located inside the new Island Tower at the Polynesian. So very close to Polynesian Villas. Also would be a really easy walk if you were staying at Grand Floridian. Mm-hmm. Panda, what do you think?
I haven't eaten yet at the, what is it, Wailulu? Yeah. I have not eaten there, so I can't really answer this. But I love Geyser Point. But I'm gonna deflect back to Jeff and Derek, who've been there. I can't rate this one.
No, it's fine. Panda, you picked correctly, so there's no problem there.
I will say that it's a process for me of what has disappointed me, and unfortunately, Geyser Point has been the one that has changed its menu over the years and gotten rid of certain things that I loved.
Waffle fries.
I'm sure Wailulu will do this to me and crush my heart eventually, but it's not let me down yet. Actually, it just continues to surprise me. Jeff encouraged me to go back and get the pork chop after saying how amazing it was when we were there for the grand opening. I did so. It was a life-changing pork chop. I've not been the same since. I dream about it every night. But that experience for me is what still sticks to me. So if you give me the two different options, it's going to be a tough decision, but I'll probably say Wailulu at this point, just because of the location and because I know what I really like on that menu, and it hasn't had a chance to let me down yet, so to say.
That's good.
And Jeff's been to both, I think, multiple times. We've eaten at both with you.
Exactly.
I was just looking at pictures from that. It's been like 3 years since we did the dining review when they changed up the menu or something. Like that was one of the first videos I think we did together. So
it was.
That was a long time ago. We ordered the entire menu, the whole thing.
We did. We did. And speaking of dining reviews, and this is Amy's fault, and I'm sorry going off topic, but we need to go do boat rides. I've decided. Haven't been there since 2005. So
I love it.
Well, anyway. Speaking of which, too, we just learned that this summer there's going to be annual pass holder discounts, and one of those restaurants is boat rides, 40% off on select restaurants this summer. So they're either really struggling at boat rides or something. It's not good news when your food's 40% off.
I love boat rides. Okay, but. Well, so in case you're wondering what the details are, you wrote an article, right, on DVC Fan?
DVCFan.com. It's a great website that not enough of you go to.
Because there's a set of dates, and then there's restaurants under that set of dates that get 40% off, and then there's another set of dates, and then another set of restaurants. But to be fair, Diamond Horseshoe is on there. The food is not bad because they're serving the same stuff at Liberty Tree. So
it's true.
Please don't go to Liberty Tree and eat the same exact meal that you can get for 40% off in the building next door.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 40% off by my math makes me a really cheap date, Paul. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Alcohol is not included, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I don't need to drink. I have swig. All right. Back to we got off topic.
What's new?
This is actually a really hard decision for me too, because as a picky eater, I tend to gravitate more towards the Geyser Point menu. That bison burger is excellent. But even as picky of an eater as I am, and the menu at Geyser Point appeals to me more, I'm still going to choose Wailulu, and that should say something. You can't beat that location. Yeah, the electric water pageant over at Wilderness Lodge, big deal. You can see it from Polynesian as well. So you just can't beat the views. You can't beat that infinity edge seating. The Magic Kingdom fireworks, if you time it right. It's just a better location, and it's better quality food consistently. Like Paul said, Geyser Point is good, but there have been some kind of oopses lately. And so I got to give it to Wailulu, and it just makes me so happy that Derek is wrong.
Well, I'm just like out for blood tonight or something. What happened? Did you guys not a good date between you two? Not a good date last night? What happened?
Oh no,
we're just giving the fans what they love.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you guys for saying that. It's just consistently good. It's just consistently good. It's literally been open for like 6 days. So, Geyser Point has been around. Yes, there's been menu changes and all of that. So again, like you said, I love Wailulu Grill. I thought it was fantastic, especially it depends on, I think, where you sit. So if you can get into one of those booths, that's right there, right next to the water, the infinity edge, then it's probably makes your food taste 10 times better. But again, you can't go wrong with either. But again, it's just opened up. It just opened up.
Before we go further, I'm going to send Jeff and Derek my Venmo. I can be bought. And so
for the rest of the topics for the night.
I see an opportunity here. I got to take it.
You didn't chime in on this.
Oh, I am Wailulu all the way. There are so many things on that menu that I love. It's so fresh, like the ahi tuna crisp, the poke bowls, the teriyaki chicken sliders. I love that they have macaroni salad, which is a very Hawaiian thing, as a side dish. I can't even remember all the things that we've tried there. We were just there, like a few weeks ago?
It's been a month or more.
Oh,
it's been too long at this point, but you know what you're making me think of right now?
What's that?
Alani.
I know.
We need to go back to Alani.
Don't remind me. But yes, I love Wailulu. I love the location. I love the whole menu. That's my favorite.
Let us know in the comments if you think we should take the show on the road in 2026 and all go to Alani.
The answer is yes.
And then we'll send you a Venmo where you can donate. Because
yeah. Put that Venmo up on the screen money there, Panda. We're going to need some coffers for that trip.
All right, so let's go. So I don't know if Derek has been to both of these, but I think most of you guys are. So we're going to talk about DVC lounges. We have the new lounge at Magic Kingdom, McKim's Mile House, versus the newly renamed Epcot lounge. It still looks the same as it always did. Imaginatrium. Let's see, Panda, you've been in both, right?
Yep. And I absolutely like the McKim house better.
Really?
I had a really good experience there. I felt like I was still when you go to the Epcot one, I think you feel like you're separated from the park, like for some reason. I don't know. I just feel like I'm in this area and the park is far away, and I have to decide, do I really want to leave? Do I want to stay? Where the McKim's house, I felt like I was still in the middle of the magic. I liked the theme better. I just enjoyed it better. I had apple chips for the first time, so that might be something. Yeah. But I like the McKim's location. It was easier to get into for me, believe it or not. I just went up and they were ready. Whereas I usually wait at the Epcot one, so I like the McKim one. Yeah. I don't like the name because I don't get it, but I like it.
They've definitely.
And I got my pin.
Oh yes, they were still giving those out.
The collectible opening day pin that they now
it's a cool pin
for like 3 weeks
for months on end. So,
Derek, have you been to McKim's Mile House?
Nope,
they don't.
I
let
have
his
not.
Kind in.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Epcot one?
Of course, yeah. And I was just going to agree with Panda, even though I haven't been to the one. I know that if I went to the one in the Magic Kingdom, as long as I didn't have to wait like an hour or whatnot, if I could just go there, go to the Magic Kingdom, walk in there, sit for a second, charge my phone, whatever, and leave, I know that I would like it more than the Epcot one. The Epcot one's fine, but you can just kind of tell that it was kind of like an afterthought, and it's kind of like, okay, so now what do we do with it? I don't know. I guess we'll leave it. And then it's always great news. You guys get this lounge for another year, because they haven't figured out what to do with the whole entire pavilion yet. Or so I think that thing has got to be on at some point borrowed time. Whereas I feel like the one in the Magic Kingdom, like, yes, they replaced the shooting gallery, but like Panda said too, it just probably feels more like, oh, look, I'm here. I can step in, boom, 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 versus the Epcot one. So
there's been a rumor that's actually been swirling around the internet regarding that, in that there is enough room downstairs in the new Canada Sales Center that if they wanted to actually move the lounge over there, they could. And the only reason I'm even verbalizing this whatsoever is because I think we have to know that Journey to Imagination's days are numbered, and what do they do with that whole space. And for construction purposes, I imagine you don't want to have DVC members upstairs while you're jackhammering downstairs, or whatever they're going to have to do to get the ghost of Figment out of that space. So it does make sense. And there's also, in the new sales center, we were able to walk through it, and we put a little, well, we didn't actually show any of it because they didn't let us film or take any photos. But there's this curtain downstairs that leads to nowhere right now. And it just, I don't know. I'm putting it far into the rumor mill category, but I do question, maybe they change things up eventually there.
In Epcot, they assign you a table. Is that everybody's experience? You were assigned a table, but in the McKim house, it was you walked in and you did what you had to do, and I felt that was so much nicer. I don't.
Oh, they assigned us a table.
That was opening day,
they?
So I mean, it was.
So it sounds like McKim's Mile House is not as busy, and it's easier to get into, maybe even more so than we originally thought. Panda, were you there on a weekday or a weekend?
It was definitely a weekday, but it was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I went last week, it was pick your own table too, which I thought was strange. Huh? Yeah.
Maybe it's changed.
And I felt like I had the place to myself. Like, it was weird how many empty tables there were.
The shininess wore off of the new thing quickly.
Fast. Sounds like.
Jeff, you've experienced both. What would be your choice?
Yeah, I'm not really a lounge person. I don't even find myself at the Epcot one very often. So
he's more of a Club
kind
33
of a decision
of only Club 33 lounges.
Oh, shut up. But I would probably give the edge to the Mile High Club, or whatever we're calling it now. I just, because of convenience, it's not much of a trek. I don't go to Figment anyway, because I feel violated when I go on that attraction.
Yes.
And so to walk over that direction anyway, just, I don't know, gives me PTSD or something. But I'm never in that lounge because I'm never near it. Where this one is kind of right on the way. I wish both of them had an outdoor like balcony up above where you could look down at the peasants and wave and, you know.
No, you do that at Disney. You do that at the Disney Springs Lounge.
Right.
I
did some cool views of the park would be neat, but yeah, I would give it to Magic Kingdom.
You know, I agree with what everyone said. The Epcot one feels like a trek to get to, but McKim's Mile House feels so dark and shadowy.
Yeah.
And as soon as you come in there from being in the hot sun of Magic Kingdom, I feel like I can't see anything. Did you have that problem?
My birthday was a week ago.
I complain about that about the Haunted Mansion.
We're just getting old, folks. That's what's happening here.
I like the Epcot Lounge.
Amy has a point, though.
Yeah, I like the Epcot Lounge because it doesn't take my eyes like 3 years to adjust. Because I walk up there, it's the same as, you know, it's bright and airy.
Maybe it's the introvert coming out in me here, but for all the reasons you guys said you liked McKim's, that's all the reasons why I like Epcot Lounge, because it is like the kind of, for me, the escape from the craziness of the parks. And yes, it's a little bit off the beaten path. It's, you know, kind of tucked back there. But at the same time, I like that because I can kind of like escape the craziness of Epcot, especially on like a hot festival day during Food and Wine, Flowered Garden or something. It just provides that escape to me where it's like, even you can ease yourself back into Epcot when you leave there. You know, you don't have crowds as you're leaving because no one's riding Journey to Imagination. And then you slowly work your way back into the craziness of Epcot. Whereas, like, you open that door at McKim's, the sunlight hits you, and you're smack dab in the middle of Magic Kingdom.
Okay,
And
let's talk about restroom location.
Oh, okay.
If you need to go to the restroom and you're in the Imaginatrium, you got a 10-minute trek. Well, 5 minutes, but it's
so
a trek.
Far.
McKim, you still have to leave, but it's really close by.
Yeah, it's like right outside, right around the corner there. So
Yeah.
That's a safe comparison.
I'm taking notes on what everyone's saying, what they love and don't like. So when I start to work on the resale lounge that we're talking about building in one of the parks, it's going to be a combination of everything perfect. So
Derek's Lounge is going to have a freestyle IPA.
When he says one of the parks, he means Fun Spot Orlando.
Yeah.
It's huge.
He means his backyard.
Oh my goodness. There goes your light
My
again.
light went out. Look at that. Carry on. I'll fix it on the next time I cut away.
All right.
You still look good.
Oh, thanks, Panda.
I'm just skipping all around here. Let's go with this one. I love this topic. Even if you've not stayed, I think a lot of you have seen photos or toured or whatever. But two of the most coveted, most high-end points, room categories of DVC, Polynesian Bungalow versus a Copper Creek cabin.
I've stayed in both. That's hard.
I didn't go to you first yet.
You haven't, no. And I think that it's swayed a little bit because, and I've said this since we moved here, Copper Creek and the Wilderness Lodge in general has like grown on me over the past few years because it reminds us, even though I say this and it's very weird. It's like Pacific Northwest theming, but for me, it reminds me of pine trees and Northeast and West Virginia. Mm-hmm. So like you get those vibes, those same, like I saw an armadillo walk by on a path as I was headed back to our cabin when we stayed there that one time. And I mean, you saved a lizard from the screen enclosure. So it gives you the wildlife aspect of it. Also, Plunge Pool is just a weird place where to not go back in time in this show, but where maybe a kid would pee and you would have questionable experience. The hot tubs are the way to go. I feel like they just need to rip out all the plunge pools, and maybe that would, sway the idea a lot.
Yeah, that should be a hot tub.
I mean, I guess I get it because you're in Florida in the middle of the summer. You kind of want the place to dip and cool off a little bit after a long day in the parks or something. But
I've never seen anybody in them. Have you?
No.
Not that I'm not that I'm really creeping on people in their bungalows, but
Figure's got her face up against the monorail window.
I've just never seen anybody using the plunge pool. Not that it doesn't happen, but all right. Derek, tell us what you think.
I've been in both. I think if I'm going to pick one, so like when we're talking about the restaurants, like if you could, I'd like to do it this way and say, okay, if I could snap my fingers and say, okay, here you are. You got one night at this or you got one night at that. I'm going to go with the Bungalow just because I feel like, it's such a bucket list thing for so many people that I feel like, to sit on your bungalow. And again, if I ever got a bungalow, I wouldn't leave the bungalow. I would do everything in that bungalow the whole entire day. I'd have breakfast, I'd have lunch, I'd have dinner, I'd have dessert, I'd have drinks. I'd do everything just to sit there and be there and look at the Magic Kingdom and watch the fireworks. That while amazing, the inside of the Cascade Cabins are so flipping cool. And I love that screened in porch area and you feel like you're a million miles away. I feel like I would miss that view. Yes, there's views at the Cascade Cabins, but not really. I mean, there's not really great. It's beautiful, but it's, like swamp, Panda loves it. So whereas you have that bungalow, it's just that for everybody. Again, it's like that bucket list. Like you just want to stand there all day long. So the people going on the boats, point at you and say, oh my God, look at that guy. Oh my God, they got one of those bungalows. How cool is that? I had a member that just joined and she was sharing pictures in one of our groups. And she was like, you know what? I used up 3 years worth of points to be able to do this bungalow, but it was the absolute best thing I've ever done. These are memories that are going to stay with us for the rest of our life. Will they probably do it again? Maybe not because the points are so outrageous, but I'm going to go with using somebody else's points, I'm staying in a bungalow.
I would be swayed, Derek, in your direction if one thing came back at the Polynesian, the Twilight Feast. They used to do a takeout Twilight Feast.
No, they delivered it.
And they would deliver it to your bungalow or to your room, and it was all of the Ohana food. So
They stopped that?
It was like $50.
They've never brought it
Stopped
back.
during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Never
it
brought
was
it back.
stupid cheap too. It was stupid cheap, and it was amazing.
And,
it was so much
and
food.
people would only buy it for one person, and you would get enough food for 4 people. Like they gave you so much food.
And I mean, even if you brought it back and it had to be a family of 4 or something, we would still buy it, just the 2 of us. Because I think Derek, you were talking about Ohana on a recent show that we did, and going there to eat, the experience isn't what it used to be. Whereas if I'm at the Island Tower now and I've got an amazing view, or if I have one of the lake views in a deluxe studio even, or if I have a bungalow, these are amazing opportunities. We actually had a friend that stayed in a bungalow and had us over, and this was after they canned the Twilight Feast.
Yeah.
We actually
did
had a
cater.
guy come in and cater and do the Twilight Feast right in the bungalow, and that was just an amazing experience. So if they would bring that back, I would probably change my answer.
Yeah. Jeff, I know you were upgraded to a cabin once.
I've stayed in a cabin twice, and I have not, to be fair, stayed in the bungalow, but I've looked at every picture, and I, like you, put my face up against the window of the monorail to see if I can see anybody. My thing about the bungalows is this. I think they're cool, and the idea is cool, especially at a Polynesian themed, obviously Tahiti, Fiji, other South Pacific resorts have these in real life. But the cool thing about those is you can step off your bungalow and into the water.
Yeah.
Where you do that here and you're going to get eaten by alligators. If they would have done something like that and attached it to, kind of like Evermore has that big giant pool lake that you can swim in, I might be swayed a little more towards the bungalow, because then you're actually kind of giving that authentic experience. But as it is right now, I like the privacy of the cabins. You can't really see the neighbors. It just seems a little more secluded. The interiors are just beautiful and laid out very, very well.
Yeah,
Hot tub versus plunge pool, just kind of everything leans me back towards the Copper Creek cabins or Cascade cabins, whatever they're called.
Yeah. Panda, what do you think?
My first response was going to be the cabins until I remembered one thing about the bungalows that I can't say cabins. It's not just watching the fireworks. It's having the speaker on your balcony there, the outside with the firework audio, and that you can do the volume. So that sells me. I can't not want that. Looking at a castle across the lagoon, watching the fireworks with the synced audio on my porch. I can't go to the cabins then, but I love the cabins. And I do love the bungalows, except for the big water bug that got me.
Just because I'm curious about this too, Panda, where does Fort Wilderness Cabins fall into this? Does it out-trump both of them, or is it...
The Fort Wilderness Cabin?
Yeah.
Trailer.
No. That doesn't trump any of these two. I still enjoyed it.
Are you sure?
It's the coziness with the death outside.
Panda mentioned a bug getting to him at the Polynesian. That is my big thing. Yeah.
Okay, I was barefoot going into the shower, and a water bug about this big just walked across the floor. We did wind up killing him, but we don't have bug spray with us. We're spraying him with Lysol, and I'm like, did it get him? No, but he smells like lavender now. So
I
can see Panda, Lysol and sunscreen in each hand, and
I was petrified. I really was. I was barefoot, and it was like, no.
To me, the bungalows are buggy, and especially in humid Florida time, you've got that outdoor deck, you're on the edge of the water there. It's not an ocean, there's not waves, it is, it's a lake. So you've got bugs, and I love that the cabins have that screened in outdoor space. I just think it makes it so much more comfortable. And then, like what everyone else said, I like the privacy of the cabins. I like the hot tub versus the plunge pool. And from a lot of the cabins, you can watch the electric water pageant. So you get some kind of nighttime, time show. I'm not a good host. This is not my forte.
Yes, you are. You are awesome.
This show because
I just need to keep this streak going because I think if I'm correct, Panda and I have agreed on every single thing, and Jeff and I have agreed on nothing.
Oh wow!
Let's just keep it going.
Okay. This is a divisive.
Thanks for the Venmo,
Derek. All right, Christmas time. Which one are you going to enjoy more? And just pretend like we're just talking about normal times. I know that this year we've got some construction coming up, but the lobby of Wilderness Lodge or the lobby of Grand Floridian during
Wilderness Lodge.
Wilderness Lodge. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. There's less people. It's so rustic. It just fits the theme. It's absolutely gorgeous with the rocking chairs. You try to go to the Grand Floridian. God forbid if you're staying there during the holidays. There's 8 trillion people going to see the overpriced candy house and walk through and buy overpriced cookies and everything else. It's a lobby is nuts. Cookie. It's insane. It affects the monorail, everything else. Wilderness Lodge during the holidays. Absolutely nothing else like it at Walt Disney World. Done.
I do feel Christmas more in the wilderness. It's the quintessential Christmas. It just feels Christmassy.
Boom.
I love the Grand Floridian too, but Wilderness Lodge is it.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Cross the streak off the list because I agree 100%. I was making faces to try and throw everybody off, but yeah, that's no competition for me. I'm on record many times saying that the Grand Floridian is overrated anyway, and at Christmas time even more so. You can't even stand on the balcony at Christmas time in Grand Floridian and get a view of anything because it's just masses of people all the time. Wilderness Lodge, it fits the theme. It's Christmassy, it's homey, it's pine tree-y, it's fireplaces, it's no competition for me at all.
I said if Santa Claus was going to sleep somewhere for the night at Christmas, he's going to the Wilderness Lodge.
Okay.
The only thing that I wish Wilderness Lodge would be more consistent with is the kind of the gingerbread aspect.
Yeah, when they had it, it was cool.
Yeah, they had a very cool gingerbread display for a little while, and they had some of those cookies, and that's the only thing that makes me go to the craziness of Grand Floridian every year, is that I am a sucker for their bag of, it's like assorted German gingerbread cookies, and it just absolutely... So it blows me away. And while we're on this topic, opinions on the changes that are coming to Grand Floridian. So I don't think we've had the opportunity to talk about that as a group, but they are refurbishing that entire lobby area of the Grand Floridian, and they're turning the bird cage into essentially a bird cage bar. And I know, Derek, you were all about that because the word bar and the word IPA and those things go hand in hand. So you're pretty excited about that as someone that I feel like is pretty invested in the Grand Floridian since you got married next door.
Yeah. So I thought it was great. I think the plans look awesome. I'm all for it. So that doesn't bother me at all whatsoever. What I do wish, though, first and foremost, that if you have this money to bring back and build a bar from scratch and do all this other stuff, for the love of God, bring back the orchestra. Just bring back the orchestra. And I looked at those pictures, and the first thing that I thought of, and I know others did too, was like in the back where they used to do, the tea party. That's still like quarantined up, like nothing is back there. Put the orchestra there. Just bring back the orchestra. I think there's nothing wrong with having a lobby bar. It's very common. A lot of resorts have bars in the lobby. But I think just bring back the orchestra. That's all I ask. It doesn't have to be everybody. Bring back like 3 people or like 4 people. But I miss that feeling that you got that no other resort have as you walk into that lobby. And again, you just hear the orchestra. So, but yeah, I think it's very cool changes. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I completely agree on the orchestra. I love when there's also a piano player, but they can always like switch off, between the two. And especially if you're going to have a bar right there.
Yes.
And Enchanted Rose gets very busy. So it is nice to have another bar option to kind of take some of those crowds to make it more manageable.
Panda, are you excited by the changes, or are you skeptical?
I'm really not. But I'm not a big drinker, so I don't want to tell you I don't like it, but I think the lobby should be calm, should be a place to sit, relax. I don't want to hear a blender. I think it's a mistake, especially because you have the Rose right upstairs and you have the Grand Floridian Cafe. You could put it somewhere else, I think. I don't know. I just think I would really rather the orchestra. And if you tell me the orchestra's coming, then the bar would be fine.
I wonder if it's a little bit of an acknowledgement, too, as to how many people they turn away probably at Enchanted Rose every night because of how busy that place gets. And it's Disney just kind of going, we're missing revenue. We should just send them downstairs to this new bar or something. Jeff, your thoughts on the new bar?
I'm actually a fan. I think it's going to liven up the place a little bit. It's not going to feel quite so stuffy to me if there's kind of this aspect to it. And like you guys have said, it will alleviate the pressure that Enchanted Rose has. I don't know. I'm not feeling strongly either way, but I tend to gravitate more towards the pros of it. Yay, Grand Floridian, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be excited just to get to a point where Grand Floridian construction is over with. Like, I feel like hopefully, they'll probably restart by the time they're done with this on everything else and start refurbishing everything yet again. But this is kind of like the last phase of a long project that Grand Floridian has been going through over the past 5 to 6 years, it feels like. So.
Yeah. And back to the Christmas topic, I have to agree with Wilderness Lodge because I get overwhelmed with all the people at Grand Floridian at Christmas. It's just crazy. And they sell a lot of similar sweets at some of the other resorts as well without having to wait in the gingerbread house line.
And just an honorable mention, Grand Californian.
Oh,
If you love Wilderness Lodge, Grand Californian gives those same vibes. They do have a gingerbread house that they bring in every year. They set up like a little bar with cookies, and they'll sell you spiked hot cocoa in the lobby. And they have a giant fireplace. I mean, it's the same kind of vibes that you get. It's almost a hodgepodge of melding what's great about Grand Floridian with what's great about Wilderness Lodge. So
to me, Grand Californian is more like the craftsman, like rustic, whereas Wilderness Lodge is more like I don't know, rustic.
Lumberjack?
Lumberjack rustic. I don't know.
Round us
Okay.
off with one last one
Oh,
for this
that's-
wonderful this or that.
Oh, hey, just sorry. One more honorable mention for Florida because someone made a comment and it makes me want to comment on that comment is Animal Kingdom during Christmas is stunning. Animal Kingdom Lodge during Christmas is stunning. For some reason, someone thought that I hated Animal Kingdom with every ounce of my soul, which could not be further from the truth. I don't know where that came from. I told my wife about that. She goes,
Because you hate animals. You hate animals, not Animal Kingdom.
There are those podcasts out there that avoid and don't read any comments on any of their on their
Derek reads them
videos.
all.
We read every single comment that ever comes in on these videos, and you can guarantee that we're going to probably have sent it back and forth in a group chat in some capacity. So
Absolutely.
it's a fun time when you guys comment on our
Derek
videos.
doesn't like Bay Lake, but he loves
correct.
Animal Kingdom.
And again, thank you for taking the time to comment, whether it's good, whether it's bad. We've always prided ourselves on we are going to be 100% honest on these shows. So the person that thought that, I just want you to know, I love Animal Kingdom Lodge. I think it's a fantastic resort. It's beautiful during Christmas. And kudos to the person who left the comment on last week's show. It was probably my favorite that made me laugh out loud. It said, watching Derek when he starts talking about Bay Lake Tower feels like Star Wars. Like, yes, let the hate come out. Let the hate come out. So kudos.
I feel your anger.
Yes, that's
Oh my
it.
goodness.
It's so good.
All right. What's good is I'll have some topics for some other time. Let's go with festival versus Epcot festival. So food
that's
and
cool.
wine festival versus what's going on right now, which is the Flower and Garden Festival. Jeff, what do you think?
You said food and wine versus flower and garden, not
Yes,
festival
food and
yards,
wine.
right?
Yep, food and wine.
Oh,
To me, those are like two of the biggest
Yes.
ones.
They're
yeah.
not the best, but yes, they're two of the biggest.
I
Yeah.
disagree. One of those is my favorite.
I agree, Amy.
I like the food at Food and Wine. I like the ambiance at Flower and Garden. So this is really hard. But I'm probably going to give it to Food and Wine. Give it to Food and Wine, and just barely because the food menus tend to be better for my palate. But it's just barely. Like it's just a little bit better.
Okay, so I'm agreeing and not agreeing with Jeff. I agree that the food is better at Food and Wine, and the park looks better, but I still would pick the park looking better because those flowers are amazing. So that trumps the food for me. The food and the Flower and Garden Festival wins.
Okay. Derek, you seem to have a very strong opinion.
No, I just can't believe that Jeff kept our streak going because I thought he was maybe going to side with me and pick the correct festival, which is, of course, it's Flower and Garden Festival. It's an
Yes.
absolute no-brainer. The park never, ever looks better than during Flower and Garden. After you go during Flower and Garden, and if you go to Epcot any other time, you walk in and you're like, why is it everything so naked? Like it just feels like cold. Like that park during Flower and Garden is fantastic. I love the music that they have during Flower and Garden. I love the food. I thought the food was great. This year they had a ton of different foods that we've never had before. We had some different beer. It was fantastic. So Flower and Garden, 100%. 100%. Food and Wine gets too busy. You couldn't pay me to go to Food and Wine on like a Friday or a Saturday night. Forget it. I ain't going. Flower and Garden all the way.
Flower and Garden is my favorite. I agree with Derek and Panda. The way the park looks, the colors, it's so vibrant. The photos that you get. I posted a photo of just you and me on Easter at Epcot, and just the comments of like, holy cow, look at those colors. Just everything about it. And my mom and my sister, they're really into gardening. And we've taken both of them now at different times to Flower and Garden. And my sister, it was her first time at Disney ever. And we were like, okay, well, we have to take her. She's not really a Disney person. So it's like, I want her to enjoy herself. We took her to Epcot, Flower and Garden. She took a picture of every single topiary, like literally looked at every flower Like she loved it. So
Aw.
I just really, really love the park and the way it comes to life, during Flower Garden.
If you asked me this several years ago, my answer would probably be food and wine. But there's been two big changes to food and wine that over the years has made me kind of steer clear of it and kind of not. I still love it. It's a great festival. Festivals are great at Epcot. First off, with food and wine is the fact that, and this applies to all festivals. I wish Disney would focus the food around what season it is in Florida, because the last thing I want to do is a piping hot bowl of ramen in the middle of July at Food and Wine. I would rather like that maybe during Festival of the Holidays, or maybe it's more appropriate for, Festival of the Arts, or even the early part of Flower and Garden. And they have been doing a better job with that with Flower and Garden. Flower and Garden does have at least one booth that kind of rotates as the season progresses. And I think this needs to apply to this, because again, I don't want a heavy bowl of macaroni and cheese on the middle of a scorching 100-degree day. I want things that kind of are maybe a little bit cooler, and I feel like they could just play into that a little bit more. And I think that the festivals in general would approve. The thing that killed Food and Wine for me was when they got rid of the food demonstrations. They shouldn't. I feel like they need to take food or wine out of the title now, because they've really gotten away from that aspect of really, let's teach people about cooking or let's teach people about wines. That educational component, I think, was such a highlight of that festival, and they've not brought that back for so many years. And like, I don't want to be a hater of Epcot festivals, but I feel like they're just getting lazy with them. It's the same copy and paste with every festival now. They redo the Odyssey building to whatever the theme of the festival is. They give us one other special something or other. They bring in some musical acts so that they can sell the dining package so that you can go to that show or whatever it is. So I think the magic of what made these festivals special, and this is why, going back to Jeff at the beginning of this is why Festival of the Arts is the superior festival, because they still harness a lot of this. The fact that you can go and do drawing, or that you can go paint that mural, and they've got the chalk artists out. That festival has not lost sight of this. It probably will eventually, but that is what I miss about some of these festivals.
Yeah,
well, and that's, you guys are swaying me back. I should probably change my mind, but I'm gonna die on the hill that I set myself on, because I don't want to be a wisher-washer. But I will say a couple of things in my defense. I do like the concert series at Food and Wine. It's way better typically than Garden Rock. Yeah, it's a lot more local bands for Garden Rocks. They do have a few bigger names, but I do like Eat to the Beat much better. I had forgotten about the demonstrations. That is something that they do need to bring back. They have all that room. They could easily do it. But I also like the theme of, it tends to be very Remy heavy for Food and Wine, which I like.
I do like that.
Flower and Garden tends to be kind of a mishmash of whatever character they want to. That's my only complaint about Festival of the Arts.
Yeah. Figment
all the time, everywhere. It's purple, no matter where you go. It throws up in your face.
Figment carries over into Flower and Garden somehow. Give it to Orangebird. Just give that festival to Orangebird. He can carry it. I promise.
Yep. Yeah. I wish that they would start Food and Wine later in the season and give us a summer festival. I think we've talked about this before, but an actual summer festival with some lighter, less hot, no chili, no
beer and barbecue, or
anything that kind of represents the summer months a little bit more. But I'll die on my hill, even though I'm probably wrong.
Well, hey, so the one thing that I think we can all happily agree on is that every single festival has that one consistent thing that everybody loves so much, is always the astounding lack of tables. That why can't they just add more tables? For the love of God, Annie and I were there a couple of weeks ago, and we're looking around, and it was during the week, right? It's like at noon on like a Wednesday or like a Thursday or whatnot. And we're looking, and we're seeing all this open space, and we're like, why can't they just add more tables? Like, I'm not talking chairs. I'm just talking tables. It doesn't cost that much money. It's a guest satisfier. It doesn't mean that because you have a table, a guest is going to sit there for 6 hours and just eat like the same dish over and over again. So if that's your concern, just for God's sakes, add more tables. Add more tables.
It does. It needs more tables. I know the whole trash can thing is a fad, but
I don't even look for tables anymore. I just look for a trash can.
I cannot eat on a trash can. I cannot get into that. People are coming over trying to throw their junk away.
Anything, anywhere.
That is true.
I've learned that.
Yeah. There was one time though that I was eating at a trash can, and for some reason I didn't notice that like there was an open trash can, and someone came and threw something, and it came through the trash can towards me. So
see, it's dangerous.
You just got to be on the lookout for that. You just make sure that this trash can does have doors, but I mean you should be good. Well, as with all of our this or that's, we love hearing your thoughts in the comments, and we do read them, especially Derek. And so please let us know what your opinions are, how we're wrong, and how you're right. You know, whatever those things are, put them in the comments of this video as always. And we look forward to reading them. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next Monday.